Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
And we begin with the wet weather and what's to come.
Meteorologist Adam Caskey standing by. So Adam, are we in for more rain tomorrow?
Yes, actually another opportunity tomorrow. I mean, we still have some good, gently soaking rain this evening and for, I think, just a few more hours for most of us here in San Antonio. Here's the big picture. You see the leading edge of it now nearing the Rio Grande. The thick of it right now is especially just south of San Antonio. We're talking Frio County, McMullen County, Dimmitt, LaSalle, McMullen counties, Atascosa County, and eastward toward B County. That's where you see the yellows, oranges, and reds indicating the heavier precipitation and the corresponding higher accumulations. Here's the motion. It's all coming in off the Gulf, and the backside of the main plume of moisture that we've been seeing is already moving into the Goliad and Beeville area, and this is moving pretty quickly. So we'll actually give you a timeline on when it's likely to come to an end, at least the steady rain here in San Antonio. And I think that backside will be into town around midnight. Midnight is when we'll see the back end of the actual steady rain that we've been having. However, some of the more persistent showers farther south of town will continue to persist after midnight. Now, tomorrow morning, it's going to be dry. So the rain slowly tapers off tonight, dry for the morning commute tomorrow. Then we get that next opportunity tomorrow afternoon. 40% chance. It's not exactly significant, but I'll talk more about what's going to cause this, along with how much rain has fallen so far today in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. Just days before the one-year mark of her death tonight, Melissa Peta's family is speaking out. San Antonio police shot and killed Peta in June of last year in her apartment while she was experiencing a mental health crisis. Her death sent shockwaves across the city and led people to question how mental health calls are handled.
The night team's Avery Everett sat down with Pettis' daughter, who says that change still needs to come in San Antonio.
I wish I can just go back and tell her how much I loved her. And
devastation only begins to describe how Melissa Pettis' family feels.
1 year later, how are you doing?
I mean, I'll never be the same. I don't have my mom with me anymore.
Sunday marks 1 year since her death, and this family is still fighting for justice.
It's hard, and I feel like, I can't even grieve right because I'm seeking justice still.
3 San Antonio police officers were charged in Pettis' death. SAPD says she was shot and killed early in the morning on June 23rd of 2023 while she was experiencing a mental health crisis. Body camera footage shows she had a hammer in her hand when police shot through her patio window and door.
My mom didn't deserve that.
What impact did that video have the first time you watched it?
Shock, rage, sadness.
You're gonna get shot!
SAPD confirmed its mental health unit was not called out to the scene before the shooting. And that's why Pettis' death pushed people to question over the last year how the city handles its mental health response.
I want awareness, I want change, and I want everyone to not forget who my mom was. And I want justice.
But until the cultural and systemic problems of not disciplining officers, not giving them the training that they need, not intervening when somebody is losing their head, all of those things are needed in order to prevent this from happening in the future.
Tovar says she tries to stay positive with photos and audio recordings of their mom. Because even in devastation, she says her family is determined to fight for justice.
I won't stop. I want change. I want better change.
Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
That little boy had just heard a recording of Pettis through that teddy bear, and that's why he was so upset. You know, that attorney who we just heard from says the civil cases are on hold until those criminal cases play out.
Yeah, here's a summary of those criminal cases involving the 3 SAPD officers so far. Sergeant Alfred Flores, Officer Eleazar Alejandro, and Officer Nathaniel Villalobos were charged with murder in connection to Pettis' death last summer.
You know, it's really rare for law enforcement officers to get charged with murder in San Antonio. And at the end of last year, Alejandro and Flores were indicted for murder. Villalobos was indicted on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon by a public servant. Now, the next court hearing for those officers is set for June 27th.
As of now, all three officers indefinitely suspended from the force, but their attorneys confirmed to KSAT they have appealed that. We reached out to SAPD for a comment, have yet to hear back.
Now, lots of questions tonight after an apparent act of vandalism at an auto repair shop. So this happened in the parking lot of Amco Transmissions near Loop 410 and Jackson Keller Road. At least 7 cars had either been burned, had their windows smashed like that, or both. A camera at a nearby business captured the flames and smoke around 6 o'clock this morning. Right now, investigators are trying to figure out who caused all that damage.
And tonight we're learning new details about a horrifying scene last night. 3 people dead. The San Antonio Police Department not identifying any of the suspects right now.
So now investigators are saying that an unknown person in a vehicle shot at another car several times before the car crashed. Zaria Oates tells us what people saw.
People in the area tell me it was a scary incident. The car that was shot at hit 2 people when it crashed, killing one of them. The 2 people inside of the car also died. This surveillance video on your screen from a nearby gas station shows a man running up to the store minutes after the crash, going inside, buying something, and then leaving. We're blurring his face as SAPD has not yet released any information about any potential suspects at this time. We went back to that scene today where multiple people told us the violent situation last night is not unlike the area. The people we spoke with asked to remain anonymous for their safety.
And it's the cop cars and ambulance just flying down the street past the counter.
Were you scared at all?
Yeah, of course. Like when you see like multiple, you know, something like either big or something like life changing probably is about to happen. So like it's something like you don't really know what to expect until you see it on the news.
From time to time, there are fights, accidents. Like, I want to say every month there's a fight.
What about shootings?
Shootings, like, yeah, you hear gunshots like on Fridays. It's typical.
He says it's typical, but neighbors tell me it's awful living so close to such a tragic scene. We're still working to confirm the identity of those who were killed last night as SAPD works to identify any suspects in this shooting. As we have more information, we'll bring it to you here and on KSAT.com. Stephanie.
Thank you, Zaria. A mother who police say was shot and killed by her teenage son has now been identified as 37-year-old Luz Aurora Gonzalez. The night team's John Paul Barajas went back to the shooting scene where he met with family of both the victim and the suspect.
They saw her when they shot her right in front of me. I don't know why he even pulled the trigger.
It's a question the family of Luz Gonzalez and San Antonio police want answered. Why did a 16-year-old shoot his mom in the back with a shotgun?
It doesn't feel real to me that my mom is no longer here.
For Iluminada Torres, her mom is gone. Her younger brother's behind bars accused of killing her.
Say anything to him? Did he say anything to you after what happened?
He didn't answer me. I told him, why did he do it? He didn't answer me.
The family explains they have a complicated dynamic. Teresa Salazar is the victim's mom and suspect's grandma. She takes care of most of Gonzalez's kids and says she had a protective order against Gonzalez but would let her stay at the home from time to time.
But I love her very much.
How was your relationship with her, I asked. It was good times and it was bad times, she said. As for what happened Tuesday afternoon that led up to the shooting, Salazar says she can't remember anything from the last 24 hours. For Torres, it's confusing.
My brother just starts getting upset. I don't know why. They sit down and they start talking and my mom starts raising her voice at my grandma. And, well, then that's when everything escalated.
Now the family's left navigating a wide range of emotions of losing a loved one and having another accused of murder.
Is there anything you say to your brother right now? Is there anything you say to your mom?
I'm gonna miss her a lot.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Oh, that's devastating. We want to take this chance to remind you that if you or someone you know is in a domestic violence situation, please scan that QR code on your screen right now. That'll direct you to a list of available resources.
Let's go now to your Nightbeat News Flash. Those living here in San Antonio no longer have to send an application out of town to get a passport renewed. San Antonio now one of 6 cities that have been selected for a new passport agency. The other 5 cities are Salt Lake City, Kansas City, Orlando, Charlotte, and Cincinnati. So far, however, there are no details as to how soon the new passport agency will open here in San Antonio. Bexar County commissioners greenlighting Toyota's plans to expand their far south side plant with the approval of a $15 million tax incentive. Toyota also investing more than $530 million into that expansion that they say would create more than 400 new jobs. This move comes 1 month after Toyota unveiled their expansion plan to the county commissioners. And that's a look at your Nightbeat News Flash.
Today's Juneteenth. It marks the day the last slaves in Galveston, Texas found out that they had been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation. That was June 19th, 1865. And today the holiday is all about celebrating diversity, unity, and freedom. We have a number of those stories on our website, KSAT.com. Now coming up, what to do with water wasters. Well, SAW says it has a plan to crack down on people who use more water than they should. What they want to do to limit water use, and also what's standing in their way. I have a question for you. Imagine losing 17% of your income. It's a possibility for people who depend on Social Security benefits. So we focused on that tonight during KSAT and AARP's discussion about Social Security. As you know, the program's trust fund is dwindling, and only Congress can do something to bring more money into the program. And that's where you enter the chat.
You'd like a broad movement that brings some sort of pressure on our elected officials. That movement has to start with you, I guess, and us. And so talk to people you know about this. Make it a part of conversation. Don't let it be hidden. Don't let those young people think they don't know what Social Security is.
All right, so we want you to scan that QR code on your screen. That'll take you to our Social Security special. You'll understand how we got here and also what we can do, because yes, we can do something to protect Social Security.
All right, it obviously wasn't a problem today, but the San Antonio water system says they aren't seeing enough conservation amid drought conditions. Now they're proposing some new rules that include surcharges for heavy water users, different watering hours, and going after water wasters that don't live in city limits. Those new rules all up for debate in tomorrow's city council vote. Of course, we'll report how many of those new rules get passed on air and online at KSAT.com.
Oh, perfect segue to talk about rain for tomorrow, Adam.
Yeah, this is just what we needed. A good soaking rain that doesn't come at a cost. You know, so often we talk, we'll get rain, but it's going to come at the cost of severe storms and maybe some damage. Not this situation. This is great. Just some good, deep tropical moisture that's been slow and steady throughout the afternoon and now into the evening, putting the authority radar into motion. You see it's very light in and around San Antonio, the light green, starting to taper off Hallettsville to Gonzales down to Cuero and Goliad. And this is really the back edge of this main moisture plume right near Goliad and Kennedy. So timing that out for San Antonio, like we talked about before, that back edge just around midnight is when it's going to be moving through San Antonio. So we still have a little bit of time, over an hour for this. Farther south of town, it's a little more persistent and even heavier, especially on I-35, south of Divine, Pearsall, Dilley included. That's where we have some of the more moderate to heavier showers. Now, I want to take a look at some of the rainfall totals. And keep in mind, it's still raining in these blue areas, and it has started later, particularly in the hill country. But you look around San Antonio, and radar estimates are generally so far on the order of about a quarter to a third of an inch. Higher amounts on the south side of town, on the far south side of Bexar County. Floresville, Poth, just under an inch. You go farther to the east, and accumulations are even higher as you go down to the east and southeast. I mean, look at some of these numbers. Get into the yellows, Goliad, Karnes County, and that indicates a minimum of 2 inches estimated by Doppler radar. So that's pretty impressive rainfall. And again, it's still raining in some of those areas. There's even higher amounts farther to the southeast of San Antonio. You get along the coastline, Rockport area, 6.2 inches estimated by Doppler radar in those areas. Now, as I mentioned before, this is going to slowly come to an end as we go through the night tonight, and then we'll see another little uptick tomorrow. So here's the big picture with the clouds and radar, and you do see this watch that's in effect for Atascosa, DeWitt County, because there is the chance of a few brief little tropical funnels to spin up. It's unlikely, but it's possible through the night tonight, some locations south and east of town. But you see not much new development on the backside of it here in the Gulf. This is where all the energy and moisture came from. Now that energy and moisture is inland, not much left over. Doesn't mean we don't get another opportunity tomorrow. So let's get right to that. See the back edge of the rain after midnight moving through, tapers off, a few stray showers, leftovers into tonight and tomorrow morning. But generally a dry start to the day tomorrow. The key is we start to get some sunshine, and even just thinning of the clouds will allow enough energy to get through to destabilize our atmosphere and then kickstart more random pop-up downpours, and these would be tropical in nature. Heavy downpours mixed with sunshine. Good rainbow making weather, by the way, so keep your eyes peeled, especially later in the afternoon and in the evening. So it's going to be that situation tomorrow for the second half of the day where it's going to be just the random pop-up downpours, so you'll just have to keep an eye on the radar and check us out, and we'll let you know where they are, where they're heading. And then after sunset, they really start to taper off. Once you lose the daytime heating, you start to lose those types of showers. But at least we have another opportunity for more downpours. We're giving that up to about a 40 to 60% chance throughout the afternoon tomorrow. It really depends on how much clearing, how many breaks in the clouds we get, so the more energy we'll get. I will quickly want to touch on Tropical Storm Alberto. Max sustained winds at 50 miles per hour, making landfall eastern Mexico tonight. As a weak tropical storm and quickly falling apart thereafter. We were only in the low 80s today. That was before the rain started. 75 in the morning tomorrow, 87 for the high temperature. So below average. Average is 93. And those rain chances ramping up a little bit as we get into the afternoon and evening tomorrow. There'll be splash and dash. Tropical. Think tropics, right? It's sunny and then it rains really hard for a few minutes, then it turns sunny again, and you see that pattern in the rain dotting the landscape. And nice rain shafts off in the distance. Don't you love that when you see them off in the distance? Big old dark rain shaft. Anyway, 87 Rio Medina tomorrow, Floresville at 88 degrees. Can you tell I'm a little excited that we've at least had some rain? The aquifer's up. New drought monitors issued tomorrow, but it will not take into account the rainfall today. By the way, Friday through the weekend, looking pretty sunny and temperatures back in the low 90s, but the upper level heat high, it's not back overhead. So we're not talking triple digits, just low to mid 90s. Oh, and this is a beautiful sight. Oh, look at that. Just good, gentle, soaking rain. Yeah, I know some wet roadways, not the best for travel, but we know we need it, and it's good to see it on our live cam.
All right, thank you.
Raindrops keep falling on live cam. Yeah. All right. So the Texas Aggies are dominating Omaha.
They are dominating Omaha, so far undefeated, and moments ago they just punched their ticket to the College World Series Championship Series for the first time ever. Now they stand 2 wins away from a national title. And Clark alum Ariana Robertson emerges as an impact player as Team USA comes out of the group phase of the FIBA U18 Women's AmeriCup undefeated. The Texas A&M baseball team came into the day on the verge of advancing to the championship series in Omaha for the first time ever. Even better that the opportunity to do so comes against its conference foe Florida, who is the only unranked team in the College World Series thus far. 5th duel between these two this season, and A&M takes advantage early with bases juice, a bases loaded walk, and a sac fly put the Aggies up early. Meanwhile, Justin Lampkin threw 9 strikeouts in 5 innings of work for the Aggies as A&M wins in shutout fashion 6-0.
Now, top-seeded Tennessee and 8-seed Florida State rematch in bracket 1. Bottom of the first inning, Vols up 3-0, and Kavaris Tears keeps it that way, crashing into the wall and hangs on to make the incredible catch. Vols never let up in this one. There's Blake Burke with the solo home run. Tennessee wins 7-2. Vols advance to the finals, where they'll meet Texas A&M, who won 6-0, of course. So one of these two SEC teams will be College World Series champions. The bracket transforms now to a best-of-3 series. Game 1 gets underway Saturday at 6:30. The USA Women's U18 national team played Mexico today at the FIBA U18 Women's America Cup, and they walked away with another easy win. First quarter off the miss, Ariana Robertson grabs the board and scores. It's 27-2, red, white, and blue. The Clark High School alum scored 14 points in 14 minutes. She shot 7 for 10 from the floor and had 7 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Joyce Edwards led the U.S. with 17 points herself as Team USA cruises to a 115-20 win to finish Group B play undefeated at 3-0. Next up is the tournament quarterfinals. The 2023-24 NBA season just ended, and next season's odds are out after finishing runner-up to Rudy Gobert in Defensive Player of the Year voting. Victor Wembanyama is the early favorite to win the award next season per sportsbetting.ag. In his rookie season, Wemby led the NBA in blocks per game and total blocks. Wembanyama also has the 9th best odds at 40-1 to win league MVP. Here are the list of odds to win the Defensive Player of the Year award in the 2024-25 season. Victor Wembanyama is the betting odds favorite, of course, at 4-1. Lakers' Anthony Davis and Timberwolves' Rudy Gobert are next at 5-1. Bam Adebayo is 6-1, and Thunder big man Chet Holmgren is 7-1. All right, get this. Monty Williams secured a $20 million plus buyout in May of 2023 after the Suns fired him. This time last year, the Pistons handed Williams the largest coaching contract in NBA history at the time on a 6-year, $78.5 million deal. Now, just one season that ended with an NBA worst 14-68 record. Monty has been fired by the Pistons, and the franchise owes him the remaining $65 million on his contract. Detroit is home to the 5th pick in this year's NBA draft, so they'll try and get their coaching search moving quickly. All right, after the break, SAFC is in Birmingham for a midweek match.
Deborah Taka. Boy, he is something special, isn't he, folks?
Yep, that's
San Antonio FC at Birmingham Legion FC this evening, and Captain Mitchell Tainer trying to get his squad going after Birmingham broke the scoreless draw right away in the second half. SAFC is still without 8 players on the IR and counting, as a couple players, including Kevin Lambert, are on international duty, set to compete in Copa America this week. While exciting news for them, SAFC drops its 4th straight 3-0. The club is back in action this Saturday at Toyota Field for an 8 o'clock tilt against New Mexico United. It's a big week for soccer. Mexico plays Saturday, the U.S. on Sunday, all here in Texas. Pretty cool.
Very exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Mary.
We'll be right back.
So tomorrow, another opportunity in the afternoon and evening. We'll have sunshine, but mixed in with these tropical downpours randomly popping up across our area, which will be nice to see. And it'll be mixed in and give us another opportunity. Then we're generally dry, just some 20% chances Friday into the next week.
All right. Well, that does it for us here on the Night Beat. Thank you so much for joining us.
See you tomorrow.
Stay dry.